Hey, you're going to watch the 1984 to 1992 rear Lincoln Mark VII air spring conversion. Enjoy! Turn the air suspension switch located in the trunk to the off position before lifting the vehicle. Safely raise and support the vehicle. Remove the rear wheel to gain access to the rear air spring. Remove the air solenoid from the bag by removing the clip and turning the solenoid counterclockwise.
Pull this clip to hear the air release, and then turn it again, like so.
Remove the bottom bolts from the air spring and remove the spring from the vehicle.
Who's got?
Let's just clip down.
With the rear end supported, detach the ride height sensors and remove the bottom shock bolt. Now guys, make sure you take care when you're taking out that ride height sensor, because if you break it, you're going to have to replace it. It's not something that you can just fudge. As you can see, he's got the rear end supported here. This way, the rear end doesn't make any sudden movements when you're taking the spring out or disconnecting the air strut. Install the top and bottom pucks, which stabilize the coil spring in the proper position. The whole purpose for this rubber puck is to keep the spring where it needs to be, under your car. As you can see, we're measuring 1.5 inches from the center of the bolt on the rubber snubber to this part here where the mechanic has rubbed the frame rail. So we're going 1.5 inches from there to the center of the bolt. That's your reference point. You may need to tweak it later on, but that'll get you in the right ballpark. As you can see, the bottom puck has an angle cut into it. That's so it fits on the trailing arm properly. So make sure you set it up in there the right way so the plate is level. Remove the coil spring from the Strutmasters box and prepare to install them in the vehicle. Before installing the coil spring, loosen or disconnect the brake line and the sway bar end links. Now don't forget, when we say brake line, we mean the cable for the emergency brake. Pull down on the rear end in order to install the coil spring over the top and bottom pucks. This is what I'm talking about. We pull down the rear end and we slide the top of the coil spring in so the puck sits inside the coil spring. Now you slide it over the bottom puck and it'll sit nice and pretty on that plate. Reconnect the shock and the sway bar end links, the ride height sensor, the brake line, and the cable bracket. Now on this one, all we did was the coil springs because the shocks were still good, so we didn't see a need in replacing them. But if you need to do your shocks, this would be a great time to replace them, being that you've got everything out. Now it's time to go in the trunk and disable the suspension warning light. Okay, now on this model you can see on the driver's side of the trunk, after we removed all the covers and took the spare tire out, you can see the wire with the switch. What you do here is you disconnect the switch in order to make the light go out. Locate and cut the dark green wire with the light green stripe on it. Then wrap the ends in electrical tape. See, as you can see here, it's the green wire with the light green stripe. All you're going to do is cut it and cap off the ends. This disables the light and you won't have a light on your dashboard now. Turn the suspension switch back on, then put the trunk panels back into place. Now we reinstall the rear wheel and put the car on the ground. This concludes the mechanical portion of our install. If you're doing the front, there might be some electrical in that. You need to consult your directions or call the guys.